I do not mean that all slavery is legitimate, for I have proved the contrary. I simply state the reasons why people of the modern world believe themselves to be free, have representatives, and why people of the ancient world did not. However that may be, the moment of people adopting representatives is no longer free, no longer exists. All things carefully considered, I do not see how it will be possible hereforth among people like us for the sovereign to maintain the exercise of its right unless the republic is very small. But if it is very small, will it not be subjugated? No. I shall show later. Such equality, we shall be told, is the chimera of theory, and could not exist in reality. But if abuse is inevitable, ought we not then at least to control it? Precisely, because the force of circumstance tends always to destroy equality. The force of legislation ought always tend to preserve it. As for the right of pardon, or of exempting a guilty man from the penalty prescribed by law and imposed by a judge, this belongs only to that entity which is superior to both the judge and the law, namely the sovereign. But even this right is not entirely clear, and it will be exercised very seldom. In a well-governed state few are punished, not because there are many pardons, but because there are few criminals. In a decaying state, a very multiplicity of crimes assuring impunity. Even so, for the body of a government to have an existence, a real life distant from the body of the state, and for all its members to be able to act in concert and serve the purpose of which the government has been set up. But if aristocracy calls for rather fewer ventures or virtues than does popular government, it still calls for virtues of its own, such as moderation among the rich and contentment among the poor, for it seems that strict equality would be out of place. It was not observed, even in Sparta. Thus the will of the people and the will of the prince, the public force and the state and the individual power of the government, all respond to the same mover. All the levels of the machine are of the same hands. All act towards the same end. There are no conflicting movements to counteract one another, and we cannot imagine any constitution which more action would be produced by less effort.